हेलो एवरीवन, अ वेरी वार्म वेलकम। आई होप आप सब अच्छे होंगे। आज बहुत दिनों बाद मुझे मौका मिला वीडियो बनाने का ड्यू टू माय वर्क कमिटमेंट्स। आज का टॉपिक है ट्रम्प टैरिफ्स। पूरी दुनिया इसके बारे में बात कर रही है। ऑलमोस्ट एवरीवन ऑन दिस प्लैनेट इज इम्पैक्टेड। अगर आप शेयर मार्केट्स में हैं तो आई एम श्योर यू आर फीलिंग द हीट एज वेल। तो 2 अप्रैल को ट्रम्प ने अनाउंस किए थे ये टैरिफ्स ऑन द होल वर्ल्ड। और third, fourth, Thursday, Friday, and Monday, between these 3 days, the stock markets around the world lost trillions of dollars. और उसमें सबसे बड़ा लूजर स्टॉक मार्केट पे अमेरिका itself है। तो what is going on? What's the context of this? What's the background? Did it just happen overnight, or it was in the making? Or why did the world react so sharply to this as well, which caused the markets to plunge? And then what exactly tariffs are, just in a very simplistic forms, ये है क्या और कैसे work करती हैं? And then is this impact short term, medium term or long term? इन सब टॉपिक्स के ऊपर मैं बात करूंगा over the next 10 minutes. Let's start. So इसकी background क्या है? First thing first, जब Trump was running for the second time, he had many promises that he made to the American people, and the bottom line of all those promises was to make America great again. उनमें से एक की चीज थी, ऑब्वियसली ही इज अ बिजनेसमैन, सो उसका जो मेन फोकस है वो है इकोनॉमी के ऊपर. And one of the things that he's been saying to the Americans, that we have been shortchanged, we have been ripped off by the rest of the world, we have been getting raw deals from the rest of the world. We give more and we get back very little. And I'm going to change that. It is going to be give and take, not just give and get very little. और उसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ट्रंप ने कहा कि आई एम गोइंग टू मेक अमेरिका सेल्फ रिलायंट. वी आर गोइंग टू रिलाई लेस ऑन economies like China and produce more here, or encourage other countries to come and make things here, just like we have Make in India campaign that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been running. And then one of the other key things that he was talking about is when he talked about the raw deal is कि जब हम दूसरे countries में अपने goods बेचना चाहते हैं तो we are not given any favors. Or when it comes to other countries selling to us, we roll out a red carpet, or in fact we have no checks and balances. Anyone can come and sell anything to us, and we have no checks and balances to make sure that we protect our domestic manufacturing and our domestic market. And there is no competitive edge, let alone giving competitive edge to our domestic manufacturer. We in fact can't even compete with the other countries. So he promised the voters to fix it. He talked about the trade deficit as well. Trade deficit is कि आप कितना import करते हैं और कितना export करते हैं. So mostly America has got a huge trade deficit with most of the countries, if not all the countries, which means कि वो खरीदते ज़्यादा हैं और बेचते कम है. तो one of his key things was कि हम खरीदते ज़्यादा हैं, बेचते कम है, और जब हम बेचने भी जाते हैं तो जो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस हैं वो इस तरह की हैं उन गवर्नमेंट्स की कि वे आर नॉट कंपेरेटिव. अगर हम कुछ लेके भी जाते हैं दूसरे कंट्रीज में तो दे आर वी कांट सेल देम बिकॉज आवर प्राइस इज टू हाई. एंड व्हाई द प्राइस इज टू हाई? Because the governments in other countries tax the American goods very, very heavily. And when we bring them here, we hardly tax them. In fact, there is no tax on that. And that is what I'm going to change. So that is the background in which he actually took that manifesto to the election campaign. I'm going to change that, and I'm going to create a level playing field where it's fair and reasonable for both sides, America as well as the rest of the trading partners around the globe. So now let me talk about tariff, but before I go there, just a little bit of additional information कि जो US की जो गवर्नमेंट की स्पेंडिंग है that is about $7 trillion per annum जो वो खर्च करते हैं, और जो उनकी इनकम है गवर्नमेंट की that's about $5 trillion. और जो मोस्टली इनकम आपको आती है वो आपको टैक्सेस से आती है. गवर्नमेंट डजंट डू एनी अदर बिजनेस. तो जो 5 ट्रिलियन और 7 ट्रिलियन का डिफरेंस है that's about 2 trillion. तो हाउ डू दे मेक अप फॉर दैट 2 trillion? वो करते हैं बाय बोरोइंग. और अमेरिका सबसे बड़ा बोरोअर है वर्ल्ड में, बिलीव इट और नॉट. हमें ऐसे लगता है कि अमेरिका इज अ गिवर, बट दे बोरो द मोस्ट अमाउंट ऑफ मनी इन द वर्ल्ड. और उनका जो सबसे बड़ा क्रेडिटर है इस वर्ल्ड में वो है चाइना. चाइना को वो सबसे ज्यादा मनी ओ करते हैं. So that is sort of a little bit of an additional information. Now, borrowing and continuing to borrow is not a good practice as per Trump. He's a businessman. He loves borrowing as a businessman. He raises money himself. Lekin on the world stage and as a president of US, his declaration was that I don't like America के ऊपर इस time $19 trillion का loan है. And one of the things he said, he wants to reduce it and he doesn't want to keep on borrowing money, and especially to give to others for various things. So how do you bridge that gap without borrowing the money between $5 and $7 trillion is by actually coming up with more taxes. Now वो अपने लोगों को वो टैक्स लगा नहीं सकता. He can't increase those taxes more because he will be unpopular. He can't also reduce his spending because there are certain things that they must do. So the only avenue he's got left is to actually tax the countries who are trying to sell goods into America. उसके साथ उसको लगता है rightly or wrongly कि he can actually collect a lot of money and bridge that gap. और secondly वो अपने voters को please कर रहा है by saying कि look, I'm trying to create a level playing field here. जब हम दुनिया में जाते हैं अपने goods बेचने के लिए तो we are met with a lot of strict regulations or a lot of taxes which makes us very uncompetitive, and that is actually quite true. It's not wrong. लेकिन at the same time जब वो हमारे कंट्री में अपने गुड्स बेचने आते हैं we hardly tax them. In fact, it's almost free for a lot of countries. How is that a reasonable scenario? तो उसने अपने वोटर्स को ये प्रॉमिस किया था कि I'll try to create a level playing field. If not a level playing field, there will be taxes imposed on countries like they impose on American goods to make sure they also contribute. And on the same note, the whole idea is to protect their local industry like India does and China does as well. कि उससे मैं उसको explain करूंगा in a minute how tariff works. But उसका जो idea था उस एक अपने deficit को कम करना by bringing tax by actually charging taxes on the goods that are imported in the United States, and at the same time protecting the industry. Now, how that works is what I'm going to explain in the next section when I talk about how tariffs works. So now let's talk about the whole tariff story, how they work. Tariffs are nothing but taxes. लेकिन वो जो taxes हैं, I'll explain it. I've got pen in my hand. Let's say this is a pen. India या China इस पेन को बेचने जाता है US में. Let's make this pen an expensive pen, $100 का. अभी तक US में ये $100 का बिकता था. It comes from India और China. और जो import करता था उसके ऊपर अपना वो profit margin बना के वो $120 का इस पेन को बेचता था. Similarly, जो अमेरिका में अगर कोई पेन प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है तो उसका पेन था $180-190 का, तो उसकी जो कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन है वो काफ़ी हाई है, वेजेस हाई हैं, मटेरियल हाई है, एंड ऑल दैट. तो एक गैप था, तो अमेरिकन्स हैड नो चांस ऑफ कम्पीटिंग विद $120 pen because at home they are producing the same pen or similar pen for $180. अब ट्रंप ने क्या किया कि उसने कहा कि ओके, एज ए बेयर मिनिमम जो भी हमारे कंट्री में कुछ भी बेचने आएगा, मिनिमम टैक्स जो उसको देना पड़ेगा वो है 10%, रिगार्डलेस ऑफ हु यू आर. और ऑस्ट्रेलिया उन कंट्रीज में से आता है जिसको 10% लगाया उसने. लेकिन फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड व्हाट ही हैज डन, he has said whatever you charge us, he's actually taken half of it. अगर चाइना अमेरिकन गुड्स को let's say वो उनको टैक्स करता है at about 68%, तो उसने चाइना को 34% टैक्स लगाया for anything that they sell into US. Similarly, इंडिया को थोड़ी सी कंसेशन दी है on the basis कि मोदी is my friend, about 2%. I think India has got about 24 or 26% tax. तो जो भी इंडिया से गुड्स यूएस में जाते हैं उसमें 24 या 26% लगेगा, चाइना को 34% लगाया. सो एंड सो सिमिलरली यूरोपियन नेशंस, ईच एंड एवरी कंट्री का उसके पास चार्ट था. वियतनाम को सबसे ज्यादा लगाया बिकॉज दे बीन चार्जिंग यूएस 90% ड्यूटी ऑन देयर गुड्स. तो जस्ट टू अगेन ब्रिंग इट बैक कि अगर अमेरिका आज की डेट में वियतनाम में कुछ बेचने जाता है और उसकी कीमत $100 है उसकी चीज की, तो वियतनाम उसके ऊपर $90 ऐड करता है, तो उसकी मार्केट में अमेरिका का ये पेन $190 का बिकता है और वियतनाम में वही पेन प्रोड्यूस होता है $100 का. सो देयर इज नो वे someone is going to pay $90 extra to buy an American pen. And this is what Trump is talking about. Okay, this is not fair, this is not competitive. So I'm going to do the same thing to you guys. When you bring your products to the US, I'm going to tax them and make sure that my local industry and my manufacturers can compete with your products, because your products will be now more expensive in the American market, and my guys can compete with you. अब इसमें इंटरेस्टिंग चीज क्या है कि हु इज एक्चुअली पेइंग फॉर दिस टैक्सेस. अब एक चीज जो अमेरिकन सिटीजन को $120 की मिल रही थी, जो पेन $120 का मिल रहा था, अब ऑल ऑफ अ सडन बिकॉज 34% और लग गया, लेट्स से आई एम मेकिंग अ नंबर, वो $160 का पेन हो गया चाइनीज पेन, और अमेरिकन पेन है अब $180 का. सो डिफरेंस इज नॉट दैट मच, विच इज व्हाट ट्रम्प इज ट्राइंग टू अचीव. तो इवन टैक्सेस के बावजूद भी आई थिंक अमेरिकन के जो मोस्ट ऑफ द गुड्स विल बी मोर एक्सपेंसिव. देयर कुड बी सम गुड्स दैट विल बी चीपर, लेकिन मोस्टली दे विल बी एक्सपेंसिव. बट लेट्स से कि वो पेन अब 160 का हो गया, और मैं, बट हु इज एक्चुअली पेइंग? China is not paying. That's a tax that he's actually going to, the importer, whoever is importing those products from China or India or anywhere else in the world, are going to actually pass it on to the consumer. तो वो जो कंज्यूमर है जो $120 का पहले पेन खरीद रहा था, अब वो $160 का वो पेन सेम पेन खरीदेगा, या दे एक्चुअली बाय द $180 पेन. सो अगर आप थोड़ा सा डीपली देखें तो there's no change in India, China, or any other country sending their products there. It's the American citizen who are paying for it. Now, the second question comes that why is the world reacting to that? The reason the world is reacting to this is because in the medium to long term, their sales are going to go down. People will not buy their products. They are not going to be as attractive. आज की डेट में हम Amazon पे एकदम से चीज ऑर्डर कर देते हैं, और या अमेरिकन सिटीजन ऑर्डर करते होंगे चाइनीज गुड्स, and they're cheap as chips. Like, not anymore. With that type of taxes, the seller in America, whoever is importing, they are going to actually pass on those taxes. They are not going to actually contribute to that. तो वो तो simply इतना होगा कि उनके शायद profit margins कम हो जाएंगे, और उसको उनको भी लगेगा यार कि मैं अपने लोकली कुछ बेच लूँ. Why do I need to import from China? Because my margins are shrinking. And at the same time, जो अमेरिकन सिटीजन है उनको लगेगा why do I need to bother buying Chinese or Indian goods, जब मेरे को घर पे better quality या same quality का I spend another $10 more, but I'm supporting my local industry. तो जो world react कर रहा है वो इसलिए react कर रहा है because eventually if this sustains, then their sales are going to go down, which means their economies are going to take a hit because everyone sells heaps and heaps to the US. इसकी वजह से जो वर्ल्ड मार्केट्स हैं वो रिएक्ट कर रही हैं, नॉट बिकॉज इट इज द टैक्स ऑन देयर गुड्स, इट इज द इफेक्ट दीज टैक्सेस आर गोइंग टू हैव ऑन देयर गुड्स, व्हिच इज दैट देयर सेल्स विल टेक अ प्लंज और विल टेक अ हिट इन मीडियम टू लॉन्ग टर्म. अच्छा, अब इसका और एक फाइनल डायनामिक है, वो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. ट्रम्प का जो नैरेटिव है वो ये है कि इस तरह से वो अपनी लोकल इंडस्ट्री को प्रोटेक्ट, नॉट ओनली प्रोटेक्ट करेगा बल्कि क्रिएट करेगा. वो दो तरह से क्रिएट करेगा. पहला कि यहाँ पे इंडस्ट्री क्रिएट होगी, लोग खुद अपनी चीजें बनाएंगे बिकॉज वहां पे टैक्सेस कम होंगे, ड्यूटीज कम होगी, और जो हम इंपोर्ट करेंगे उस पर हाई होगी. द क्वेश्चन इज, इट्स नॉट दैट क्विक और easy fix to create industries. He was quoting the other day कि 90,000 factories were closed because they couldn't compete. Are you telling me that you can create 90,000 factories over the next 4 years जब तक ट्रम्प है? And what happens to those factories when Trump is not there anymore and the new government comes and reverses all these tariffs? And the second thing is it that easy to create that many factories overnight? We all know what it takes for investors to actually raise money, look at the land, plant and machinery, and then create something and then find a market for it as well. It's not that simple and straightforward. लेकिन एक ट्रम्प का obsession है. It's a promise that he made to his voters that he's going to take the undue advantage that the economies have been actually having over the last many decades, and he's going to fix that. But I'm not sure if he has got it entirely sorted. वो अपना एक election promise जरूर fulfill कर रहा है because, but I think there is a lot of thinking that is needed here. तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि इसका इस टैरिफ्स का कोई एकदम से क्विक फिक्स होने वाला है. एंड द अदर थिंग दैट इज आल्सो टू रिमेंबर इज दैट दीज टैरिफ्स will create a lot of inflation in America, which can result in recession. उसकी वजह से भी जो ग्लोबल मार्केट्स हैं वो डाउन जा रही हैं. तो अगर अमेरिका रिसेशन में जाता है, हु इज द लीडर ऑफ द पैक इन टर्म्स ऑफ इकोनॉमी, देन द होल वर्ल्ड बाय डिफॉल्ट गोज इनटू रिसेशन. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि ये सब is going to be hunky dory for American citizens. Firstly, they will pay more for everything that they buy from the rest of the world, which will create inflation, and inflation can bring recession as well. So all those factors are weighing quite heavily on the world markets, and that's why we are seeing this plunge. So it is not just about these taxes, just to be clear, are not on the producers who are outside the world, outside America. It's on the actual American people who are going to actually bear it. But Trump's position is that American citizens will wake up to the fact that these products are no longer cheaper and we should buy local. And at the same time, business community will come up with their own thing. And the last thing, also what Trump wants as part, which is again not unique, सब करते हैं, जैसे इंडिया भी करता है, कि if you want concessions, if you don't want to pay all these big taxes, come and create industries in America and produce in America. And why produce in America? Because then the American citizens will get jobs. So if you produce in America, you will not be taxed in this way. But if you produce in your own countries and then bring goods into America, I'm going to tax you and I'm going to make you less competitive. That's the name of the game. So finally, where from here? I don't think I wish I had a crystal ball. I'm heavily invested in the stock markets and I haven't slept in the last 48 hours. So, but I also know that it's all these profits and losses are notional until and unless you sell something. So I'm staying put. But at the same time, I feel for those who could be actually on the verge of pulling money out of the share market, who genuinely need it. In Australia, everything is invested in superannuation, which is in stocks. So there are a lot of retirees who could be planning to pull money out of their superannuation. They are 30% down, and it's a terrible thing for the world at the moment. In terms of what's going to happen next, only Trump knows. A lot of the time, I feel he is a real bluff master, and at the same time, he will surprise you by saying, "No, I'm not bluffing." Actually, he will warn you, and then he will take action. On this occasion, I don't think right now he's in any mood to blink. In fact, in the last 24 hours, he actually has threatened China that if they don't come to party, he's going to slap another 50% taxes or duties on anything that is imported from China. So it's not going to be an easy road or an easy fix. It will take a lot of negotiations from around the world between Trump and the people. But one thing is very, very clear. He's going to hold his ground and he's going to make sure that he does a deal with the rest of the world, especially China, that is actually palatable for the people of America. He's not going to buckle under pressure and let go what he has created. So the next few months are going to be quite volatile. But one thing is for sure, that there's a paradigm shift that he's creating, and he wants to do that. He knows exactly what he's doing. He wants to leave a legacy. He wants to have his name on something to say, look, this was broken and I fixed it. He said in one of his interviews before as well that he's not surprised with this whole share market response and all that, nor he's concerned about it, because when someone is sick and you do a surgery on that person, there will be some pain. Those were his words. So he said, we are fixing a very sick patient, and then the sick patient is America, and we won't let America be sick anymore, and we are going to fix it. So Trump has every right to do what he believes is best for his country, just like other countries have been doing for their people. But at the same time, there are other realities that America is still the world leader. So I really hope that Trump makes a little bit of an effort to bring everyone along with him and make sure that we have a world order in place. And because every action has an equal reaction, we no longer live in isolation. In fact, we live in a global village. छोटी सी किसी भी country की कोई भी initiative can create a lot of momentum, but at the same time, it can go the other way as well. So let's hope that it doesn't go the wrong way and the world leaders can sit together, including Trump, and find a middle ground. But for now, I think it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride before it all gets well. What Trump is trying to do is create a paradigm shift which the world hasn't seen before. So it's going to be a little bit painful, but I'm sure at the end everything will fall in place. So on that positive note, thank you for watching. And if you like the video, do share it with others as well. And until I see you next time with a new video, be happy, be good, and take care.